By the end of this video, you should know everything there is to know about prompt engineering, how to put in good prompts, get out even better outputs, and be better than 90% of people that use prompts today. Now, in this video, we're going to be basically talking about the foundations of prompt engineering and the foundations that actually matter, why it works, how it really works, and how to get consistent, better outputs. Now, before we go into that, I just want to address the problem that a lot of people are facing today, right? Including you. And it's a problem that I faced when I first started out. Now, the real problem with how people use AI is most people use AI like it's Google, right? They throw in a vague sentence, hoping for magic, and then blame the model when the results are just generic, wrong, or even unusable. And again, it's not a problem with AI. It's an interface problem. And the fix is a skill, luckily for you, one that you can learn, which I'm going to teach you in this video. Systemize and compound over time. Now, as AI gets cheaper and more common, the competitive edge shifts away from having access to getting leverage, right? The leverage comes from knowing how to communicate precisely, consistently, and repeatably. Right. In practical terms, prompt engineering turns AI from a novelty into an employee, not the most perfect employee, although one could argue that in today's day and age, the models are pretty perfect, but one's that's fast, cheap, and tireless if you really manage it correctly, right? Now, to go back to the foundations of it, what prompt engineering actually is. Now, prompt engineering is not knowing secret words. It's not knowing about, it's not about fancy phrases or being clever, right? It's about giving the model the same things a good human worker needs to do great work with. Again, a simple definition for this is give the model a clear goal, clear context, clear constraints, clear examples, and a clear definition of what good looks like. And that's pretty much the whole game. Okay. Now, the intern analogy, why vague prompts always fail. Now, if you tell a human intern, make me a marketing plan, you'll get a vague plan, right? If you tell them, make a 7-day Instagram Reels plan targeting first-time gym owners with a $2,000 per month ad budget with 3 hooks, options per post, and a call to action to book every call, you get something now that's usable and that actually has relevance to what you're trying to achieve, all right? So in the same way, AI is similar, except it's even more literal about ambiguity. It will fill every gap you leave with the most average generic interpretation of what you probably meant, right? Again, what's really important to understand is these LLMs, whether you use Claude, ChatGPT, Google, doesn't matter, right? They're all based on data, okay? Now, a vague prompt would look like, write me a marketing plan, make it better, create some content, help me with my emails, give me some ideas, etc., etc. You get the idea. Now, something specific that could actually be more beneficial to you would look like a 7-day Instagram plan for gym owners that we just mentioned. Rewrite to be more specific, reduce friction, keep under 150 words. 3 real scripts targeting first-time freelancers, hook plus 3 points plus call to action. Again, you get the idea, right? Now, to the next part is how models actually think, okay? Now, again, you don't need to be technical and you don't need the right mental model for this. AI doesn't really, quote unquote, know what you mean. It predicts the most likely next words based on patterns from training plus what you provided in the conversation, again, data. This creates 2 truths that matter for every prompt you write. Now, truth number 1 is the model is extremely sensitive to context. If you don't supply context, it will invent generic context that fits the average use case, again, based on data. All right, that's why you can get cookie clutter answers, basically, not because it's dumb or the model is just not good enough. It's because you gave it nothing specific to anchor to, right? Now, truth number 2 is the model will happily comply with vague instructions. So if you say make it better, it'll produce something that sounds better, but not necessarily better, right? Or relevant. But without criteria, it optimizes for smoother, more polished, more general, less risky outputs, but not something tailored to your specific goal, okay? Now, the value equation of a good prompt. Now, every environment in your prompt quality moves 2 things in the right direction. Now, a good prompt, number 1, increases the quality of the output, the accuracy, how relevant it is, useful, and, well, the likelihood of achieving the goal with fewer retries. Now, a good prompt reduces time wasted, less back and forth, so less amendments, less changes, less conversation, and less editing effort. So less revisions, fewer rewrites, okay? And I'm sure you guys must have noticed that the further on you go in the conversation, the more kind of off topic it goes. It's because you're just not being clear enough, or you're giving it information far too late and it already understands something else, right? Now, the point here is better prompts equal better outputs in fewer cycles. That compounds extremely fast, right? Every good prompt you write is a reusable asset, because again, these LLMs learn from the information you give it, the way you type and the way you speak. So if you do it correctly the first few times, the next set of questions that you ask or strategies that you're looking for are going to be far better. Number 3. Now, the 7 components of a high performance prompt, right? Every great prompt has most or all of these, okay? And every real prompt is missing several. Now, rule number 1, right? Who is the model acting as, right? So an example of a bad prompt is write copy for my landing page. Cool. What landing page? What's the context? What's the goal? And again, if you are not clear in your goals and what it is you want to achieve from the output, you will just get extremely terrible results. So it's really important before you go into prompting, you need to understand a clear path and a clear goal in your mind first. Now, a better prompt example is you are a direct response copywriter. Write conversion focused copy using short lines, simple words, and clear call to actions, and obviously give it the context in what it is that you're trying to achieve, be it whether it's for coaches, for consultants, for your own business, for an application, etc. The role is a behavior constraint, not cosplay. Right? It narrows the output towards the patterns, tones, and decisions of that rule. Without it, the model defaults to helpful generalist. Basically, you just get the most general answers. Okay. 2, objective. What is the outcome? Now, the bad example is write a script. Now, a better one is write a 60-second reel script that increases opt-in rate by reducing confusion and handling the main objection up front. So I hope you guys by now are noticing the pattern on how a good prompt is actually formed and written and sent in order to get better outputs back. Now, a task describes what to make, an objection describes what it should achieve. Now, high performance prompts target the outcome, not just the deliverable. Okay. 3, context. What does the AI model need to know? The bad one is no context at all, just a task. So again, write me a landing page. And a better one is your audience, your stage, offer and price, your channel, any existing assets that you may have, things that you've already tried. And the idea here is once you feed it all of this information, it knows exactly what it needs to do, and you will get the exact output you're hoping to get. Now, context is the difference between generic and usable. People usually skip it because A, they're rushed, they want something quick, and the output always shows, right? Include who it's it for, what they know, what you're selling, where this lives, right? Number 4 is constraints, what must be true. Now, bad is make it good, and better is under 200 words, no fluff, no metaphors, calm, confident tone, do not mention price. You're giving very clear, specific instructions. Now, constraints force precision. Ambiguous words like better, more professional, or more highly converting must be replaced with measurable criteria. If you don't define it, the model basically defines it for you based on past information. Again, that is not relevant. Number 5 is format. What should the output actually look like? So a bad is no format specified, essay mode by default. Better is return as a table with 3 columns, i.e., objection, response, tone, max 2 sentences per row. Now, if you don't specify format, you get an essay. If you specify format, you get something shippable. Common formats are usually tables, checklists, JSON files, scripts, timestamps, 10 variations, etc. Number 6 is what does good look like? So no examples, model guesses basically at style. Better is here are 2 examples of the tone I want, paste in the image or the script. Now write 5 variations using the same tone and structure. Now examples are ideally a cheat code in my opinion, okay? One good example can improve output quality more than 200 extra words of instructions. Put that into mind. Because it anchors style, structure, and voice. Always provide examples when tone matters, okay? And number 7 is how do we know it worked, right? So bad is no quality check. You get whatever the model decides is done. Now better is after writing, grade yourself, clarity 0 to 10, specificity 0 to 10, CTA strength 0 to 10, rewrite until each is 8+. Now this ideally is what's going to separate you from the 90% of people and come into the top 10% of professional people who operate prompt engineering to the highest level, right? Ask the model to check its own work, list assumptions, rate confidence, provide 3 versions with trade-offs. It's almost always catches something you'd probably miss. Right now, the most important skill is tightening ambiguity. Now, most prompt failure traces back to one cause, which is ambiguous words. When you use these, you must define what you mean by them. Now, an ambiguous word is better, but what you actually need to specify is better for whom, by what measure, speed, quality, clarity, conversion, or tone. High converting, more clicks, more opt-ins, more purchases, higher AOV, better lead quality, etc. And you get the point. By the way, guys, this exact document is going to be available for you guys to download and use in the description below, along with some prompts that I'm going to be showing you guys later in this video. Now, number 4 are prompt patterns that work. Now, 4 repeatable patterns that produce consistently high quality output. Now, pattern 1 is brief, draft, critique, and rewrite. Now, the fastest way to get high quality work is force the model to self-edit. It almost always catches things in the critique that you'd miss and rewrites it dramatically better than the first draft. Now, this is a prompt for you guys to steal. Just copy and paste it in whatever tools that you use. It works across all LLMs. Pattern 2 is ask me for missing inputs first. This is how you avoid basically garbage in. Instead of the model hallucinating, context, it asks you for what it actually needs, right? Creates a controlled workflow, prevents confident wrong answers. I'm sure you guys have always known that a lot of LLMs are more of a yes man and just agrees with what you say. This is going to stop that. Again, another prompt for you to steal. So ask before you write, and you can just copy paste this and obviously fill in the blanks that you need to fill into based on what you're trying to get. Pattern 3 is rubric-driven outputs. So you tell the model how it will be judged. This makes good measurable instead of subjective, and the model optimizes towards your actual criteria, not its own guess at what good means, right? So for you, good might mean something else, maybe more, let's say, detailed answers or vague answers, but for the LLM, good means a longer essay, right? Again, another prompt for you to steal. Pattern 4 is few shot, which is example led. So give 1 to 3 examples of what good looks like to you. Ask it to match the style, and this is exactly how you can control voice reliability, especially for content where tone is everything. Again, another prompt to steal, which is called match my style. Now, number 5 is anti-patterns that kill output quality. Now, the most common reasons people get bad results and how to fix each one. Now, an anti-pattern is no audience or context. So what you write is, write me a blog post about productivity. Now, the reason why this would fail is model writes for everyone and resonates with no one, okay? An anti-pattern here is asking for the best. So give me the best marketing strategy. Best depends on constraints. Without them, you get the most generic answer. Again, you get the idea. Now, a deep example, so vague versus a high performance prompt. Now, here's exactly what the difference looks like in practice for 2 of the most common use cases, now which is a landing page. Now, an example 1 is a vague prompt is write me a high converting landing page. Now, a high performance prompt, as you can see the difference in context, is you are a conversion copywriter. Write a landing page for funnel build, intensive, done in 7 days, funnel build, price, audience, who it's targeting. Basically, we're talking about you're talking about the primary objections here, you're talking about the format, and you're going into very, very detail. And again, at the end, after writing, list 5 A and B headline tests, right? Example 2 is customer support prompts. So help me write prompts for customer support. Again, super vague. But a high performance prompt is, you are my CX automation architect. We handle 5 ticket types, mention the ticket types, and basically a reply for each ticket type, and write 5 prompt templates for an AI agent to talk about the constraints, they're giving it, empathic, concise, never promise refunds, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so you can see the difference in a bad and a good prompt. Now, your copy paste template library. Now, I'm giving you guys 4 ready to use templates. Fill in the brackets basically and ship the output. You guys can try this. We're covering strategy, writing, research, and SOP, right? Just make sure that you guys fill in where you need to fill in, but this is all ready to copy paste for you, again, down in the description below. Now, number 7 is staged based playbook. Now, what to focus on depending on where you are right now, and this is really important for you guys to gradually get ahead of the game rather than start big and then get confused and then think this isn't for you or it's not really working. Now, if you're a beginner, your goal is not mastery, your goal is repeatability. Create a personal prompt library, which I've already given you guys. Use ask me questions first, so prompts to avoid missing inputs. Always specify your audience goals, formats, constraints, even when it feels like overkill, okay? Track what worked. So copy paste into winning prompts, doc after every good output. Just make sure you have your own library saved on your own PC, and standardize 5 to 10 prompts you use every week. So build muscle memory before complexity. Now, if you're already a bit established, so your goal is systems, not just one good one-off outputs, basically. So build prompt templates for each recurring business function. So be it content, copy, SOP, research, etc. Again, I've given you guys those prompts that you guys can start with. Add quality checks, so the rubrics, self-critique steps, confident ratings. Create a brand voice instruction as well once and reuse it in every relevant prompt. Build a context pack, so anything that you made, your offer, your positioning, your audience constraints, and paste it into every single session, or paste it into the instruction so it can know what to use. And create workflow prompts, so brief, draft, critique, rewrite for every major asset type. Now, if you're in the phase of scaling, your goal is governance, right? Wrong confidently at scale is the risk. Now, standardize prompts as internal SOPs, not just personal notes. Create an approved voice and policy. Document the model. The model must follow in every session. So this is what you can paste into your instruction. Implement human review loops before publishing or sending an AI output, and train your team to prompt consistently. Output quality should never vary by operator, right? The long game here is prompt engineering is a career mode, right? AI will commoditize execution. The advantage shifts to precision communication, judgment, clarity, and systems thinking. Every good prompt you write becomes a reusable asset that compounds over time. Now, your next 3 moves that I'm giving you guys is, again, just 3 simple ones, not 100. So pick one task, one recurring task you do weekly. Build one prompt, so the role, objective, context plus constraints, plus formal plus eval. And start your library. Save every improved prompt. Your future self will really thank you. Now, you can build you can build your own gold standard prompt right now. Pick one of the tasks you repeat most often, be it writing, planning, emails, SOPs, research, and use this framework to build one proper prompt for it tonight. Again, it's a copy paste one. Just make sure you read it and fill in the blanks where necessary. Now, every good prompt you write becomes a reusable asset. Unlike most skills, prompt engineering compounds quickly because better prompts produce better outputs, which show you what basically better looks like. Again, we've covered a few things in this video. So the real problem, how models think, the 7 components, the 4 patterns, any anti-patterns. I've given you guys a template library and all the prompts for quick reference. Again, this document is available for you guys to download. And before I go off and sign off from this video, I hope you guys have learned something valuable here. I post videos and strategies and breakdowns of everything to do with AI. So if this is the type of videos you're looking for, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button as well. It would mean a lot. And second is, remember, models are getting smarter and smarter every single day, but that doesn't mean you have to be super vague. It's become simple for you to put in prompts and get better outputs. But again, context is everything. And the most important thing that I will leave you guys with is you can do and you can write the most detailed prompt ever. But if your goal is not clear and if you don't understand what output you're expecting or what it is that you're trying to achieve, your prompts will never, ever satisfy you. So with that being said, you are now in the 10% of people that really truly understands prompt engineering, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.